Hey, what's up? I'm going to tell you why it's still okay to buy property at all-time high interest rates. You ready? Let's go. Average interest rates today are at 7.24 according to Forbes Advisor. That's crazy because some of you guys have bought property 12 months ago at interest rates in the twos. That's right, think about that. Interest rates were in the twos and now they're 7+. So the question is, why would it be okay to buy now if you are in need of a property? Well, I'm going to go through that right now, and I really want you guys to think about this because the first thing you may think of is, you know what, I'm just going to wait. Well, what are you waiting for? Like, literally, what are you going to wait for? Are you going to wait for interest rates to get lower? What if they don't? You're going to wait for prices to fall? Well, what if they don't? I can introduce you to a bunch of people that have been waiting for home prices to drop for the last 10 years. And you can talk to them and see how that's worked out for them, right? You never really know where the market's going to go. So be careful on who you're listening to out there because nobody knows. And if you listen to someone who says that they know what's going to happen and, oh yeah, just wait for things to get lower, they may not. And they very well could, or they couldn't. So here's what you need to do. If you are in need of a property and you are looking to get into a property long term and you fall in love with the property and you can afford it, key thing, you can afford to buy the property, it fits in with your budget, to me there's no reason why you shouldn't buy it. And I'm going to tell you why. Think about what can happen if you buy the property and you don't buy the property. 1 to 5 years. Let's just say you buy the property and, oh man, interest rates drop. And you see, I bought at 7.25% and now they've dropped to 5%. Well, what you can always do, and you always have the ability to do, as long as you're maintaining your job and you have income, you can always refinance. You can refinance out of that. And if it's the first couple of years of the loan, it shouldn't really matter, right? Because you're just going to refinance. Basically, it means you're repurchasing the property at the current interest rate of where the market is. So you're always going to have that at your disposal. So regardless of if you're buying at a 7% or a 5%, I mean, I think at like 3.75 and I refinanced once it dropped under 3. So you always have the ability to refinance when you're assessing where the market is. So you're reclosing on your house, and yes, you're going into another 30 years, but if you're only 2 years into it, you're really not shaving off that much time, and you're looking at your monthly payment. So your monthly payment's gonna go from X amount of dollars to now this new number because that interest is gonna be on the principal and it's gonna be a lower interest rate, which should mean a lower monthly payment if you're going down. But of course, you're not gonna refinance if it's a small little blurb that is going to not really affect your monthly payment. So you're only gonna do it in a case where it's gonna impact your monthly payment and make that lower. So you always have the ability to do that. You can always refinance if interest rates drop. Well, here's the question that I asked earlier is what if they don't? So what if they don't drop? Well, you bought this property at 7.25 and interest rates go up to 8, 8.5, 10%. You're locked in. You're locked in at that 7.25 for the 30 years. It's not moving on you. So now you can feel good about your purchase and say, you know what? I purchased at the time what I thought was a high rate. It turned out to be a low rate compared to what the market's offering now. They're not going to be able to change that up on you. Your taxes and insurance could fluctuate, but your interest rate is going to be locked in. So you really are at a nice position to be able to secure yourself and have that peace of mind knowing if the rates drop, I can refinance. If they go up, I'm locked in. And what if they stay the same? Well, that's a draw, right? You don't really have any movement at all. But again, if you're looking to buy and you have the right reasons to purchase and want to purchase, and you see yourself in that property for a long period of time, don't worry about the interest rates because you can always get out of those. You're not locked into for 30 years unless you don't do anything, but you have the ability to refinance out of them. Well, Chris, what if prices drop and I bought the property for $600,000 and now things are at $500,000? Well, now you're 5 years into your loan, you paid off some of it, and again, as long as that monthly expense meets your monthly budget, then it's not something you should really think about. In my opinion, you're not looking at this in the short game, you're not a day trader when it comes to buying a property. Unless you're an investor and that's what you're doing is fixing and flipping property, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about you or your clients buying a property and being in that property for the long haul. That's their property that they're in, and it's a better situation than they're in now. Maybe they're in an apartment and they're looking to get into a house. Maybe they're in the smaller house looking to get in a bigger house. But if someone's looking to buy a property and looking to basically better their living situation, then to me it shouldn't matter, because hopefully they're in a comfortable enough state to where they can afford that monthly payment long term, where the market can bounce back to actually get to a point where it's worth more than what they paid for it, or at least they pay down the equity enough to where they have some equity in that property. So regardless of where you are right now in really in the world, but specifically the North Shore, Massachusetts, New England, if you're thinking about buying property, talk to your real estate agent. If I'm your real estate agent, talk to me. But basically, if you're looking for a property, don't let these high interest rates discourage you. If you find a house and you love it and you like it and you know it's for you, definitely feel comfortable pulling that trigger and getting in on that property, all right? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Check out my other videos on this page. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comment section. I'll make sure to keep an eye out for them, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.